Welcome to the Historic DeLUXE Theater, located in Houston's vibrant Fifth Ward Cultural Arts District, managed by Fifth Ward Community Redevelopment Corporation. Originally opened in 1941 as a premier black movie house, the DeLUXE Theater has undergone a stunning transformation and now showcases world-class performances, films, events, and exhibitions for the Fifth Ward community and beyond.
Once you got to Lyons and Greg, then you got to the area where the Club Matinee was located. Across from the Club Matinee was the DeLUXE Theater.
Yeah, with the DeLUXE Theater and right across the street.
Well, the DeLUXE was DeLUXE. It was beautiful. The DeLUXE for young people beginning to explore, being beyond your immediate street, to meet and see girls from all over the community. You wanted to make sure that you had, your best look to compete for the honeys of the day.
Going to the DeLUXE was a big deal. And my father always made my sister take my brother and me to the DeLUXE.
I went to the DeLUXE at least twice a week. Yeah, it was beautiful. Back in those days, you could go to a movie for a quarter.
The movie started at 1:30. I'd wake up on Saturday morning and I'd cut 3 yards, $1.75 cents for a smaller yard, $2.50 for a yard that was a little larger. I'd come back home after cutting those yards, take a shower, and when I got to the DeLUXE, I would have like $8, $9 in my pocket. Baller!
They were the entertainment of the day, so that's what we watched, what was there.
The DeLUXE Theater was definitely a pillar in Fifth Ward for children, youth, and adults.
Yeah, with the DeLUXE Theater and right across the street from the Matinee.
Which has now been renovated and stands.
Now, as little boys, we would stand on that side of the street because that's the DeLUXE Theater. This is where most people my age, they met their first girlfriend here. Yeah, because this is where you come and mingle. I'll put it like that.
Sitting here in the theater is like hallowed halls because so many people were sitting in this building. Barbara Jordan, Mickey Leland, L. Franco Lee. So many people were sitting here, and so as I look around, I'm thinking this is a hallowed space for me, and I like to think that places like this nurtured our soul, and they made us feel good, especially when we think about the period when this theater was built in the 40s, and where, Blacks could carve out their own space for entertainment, social activities. And so to have their own Black theaters where they could be themselves, I'm sure this was pure delight for them. This is like the crown jewel of Lowndes Avenue. So this place was jumping.
I'm a native Houstonian, and I was born and raised in Fifth Ward, so I remember coming to the DeLUXE as a kid to watch the latest featured movies that were out. But it was a significant event center for those of us of that time period because African Americans could not go to the theaters downtown, which was primarily for whites.
The movies that came here were movies that depicted Blacks in a good light. So when Black folks came here to see Cabin in the Sky with Lena Horne and Eddie Rochester and all those other people, I'm sure that gave them a feeling of pride to be able to watch that in their own setting, in their own community.
All right, little Joe. Reverend Green's here.
I'll be there in just
a minute, honey.
I don't think any man could be very bad with a wife like you to take care of him.
Oh, I reckon he knows I love him. Yes, he knows I love him better than anything in this world. And he also knows now that when he gambles, he ain't never going to win.
How did you convince him of that?
I just showed him he can't win when I asked the Lord to make him lose.
Is that why his luck's always been so bad?
That's the only reason. He just naturally got a talent for gambling. Why, little Joe won every 2 bits in this town if I hadn't just told the Lord I didn't want us to make money that way.
My name is Kathy Flanagan Payton. I am a native daughter of the proud and historic Fifth Ward community, where I now serve as the CEO of the Fifth Ward Community Redevelopment Corporation in Houston, Texas. I am excited, and I cannot believe we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the DeLUXE Theater. This crown jewel means so much to me, my family, and this community. You see, it was the place where my mom got her first job. Yes, indeed, she was a ticket girl. She took those tickets when you came to the theater here at the DeLUXE Theater.
Residents living in the Fifth Ward have waited a long time for the renovation of the old historic DeLUXE Theater. Mayor Annise Parker and dignitaries were on hand to officially break ground.
And as often happens when you have a historic piece of property and a building that's beginning to fall apart, voices started to be raised, tear it down, tear it down, tear it down. But once you lose your history, you can't get it back. Once you lose your history, you lose your connection to the past.
My name is Annise Parker. I'm the former mayor of the city of Houston, and I played a role in preserving and revitalizing the DeLUXE Theater. I am an avid preservationist. I care passionately about the arts, but I also am very interested in community revitalization. This project was an opportunity to bring all of those passions together, and I happened to be at the right place at the right time in the city to make it happen.
One of the reasons why we founded the Fifth Ward Community Redevelopment Corporation was to be good stewards of our community. Historic landmarks was also part of what make a community what a community is. And DeLUXE Theater, along with the St. Elizabeth Hospital and other featured facilities within our community should not, at least in our mind, be torn down, but be repurposed so the significance of that structure remains and the history of the community is kept. And so the DeLUXE Theater certainly is one of these venues that we think, once repurposed, it could help bring a community together. And everything that we had dreamt that this could be, when we acquired this space, it has become that and more.
The DeLUXE Theater is being built thanks to a joint venture between the City of Houston, Texas Southern University, and the Fifth Ward Community Redevelopment Authority. The plan is to convert this building into a 125-seat theater, a classroom, and a laboratory. Construction additions to the theater could come at a later date.
The problem is that it's not just about can you preserve the space, it has to have life in it in order to last. I believe it was built in the 40s, it thrived for a while, then it languished. It was reopened in the 70s briefly, but there really wasn't anything to sustain interest and life. What needed to happen was a significant investment in the building itself, but we had to have a partner that would agree to manage and maintain the building itself, and we had a redevelopment authority here. But I also wanted some entity that would be putting theater in, putting activities in, but also introducing new people to what this space could be about and the history here. It was suggested to me that Texas Southern University would be a great partner, and that was one of those aha moments that we could bring all of this together, and it fit a a very real initiative to get arts and theater out of the downtown theater district where, you know, it's wonderful, but to bring it out into community again. So historic preservation, check. History, check. Cultural awareness, check. The arts, check. Great partners, check. Perfect project. Did take a good bit of money though.
The rehabilitation of the Historic DeLUXE Theater was no easy task. And for several years, it was a dream denied. And we had to figure out the right strategy, the right partners to help make our dreams come true. The City of Houston stepped in under the leadership of then Councilmember Jarvis Johnson, who recommended that we partner with Texas Southern University to create a tri-party agreement where there would be 3 partners in this endeavor. That made the burden and that made the load a little bit easier because the city came through with public facilities money to help renovate the facility. Texas Southern University came through with programming, and we were standing by to manage this wonderful facility. It took us about 2.5 years to rehabilitate this facility because there were so many unknowns, but we were determined for the community's sake and our response to gentrification for our history not to be lost or to be wiped away.
That means as a university, we have to be engaged in the community where we live. And as such, it is a pleasure for me as the Chief Academic Officer to now say, in partnership with the City of Houston and the Fifth Ward, Texas Southern University will provide academic programming, will also provide opportunities for entertainment, and we will do whatever we can to make sure that our students also volunteer and partake in making sure that the young ones I see here are mentored into productive citizens.
Diane Jemison Pollard, rest her soul, had the dream that TSU would have some involvement in the Fifth Ward redevelopment of this space. It had been talked about a long time and dreamed. So I remember talking to her many times, and she'd mentioned to me that that's going to happen. It's going to happen sooner or later. It's going to happen, you know. And I want you involved if it happens. I want you involved. And so I was an adjunct theater instructor over at Texas Southern at the time, and it did happen. You know, it was Dr. Rudley entered into an agreement with the Fifth Ward Redevelopment Corporation to manage the theater side of this complex, and Dr. Jemison put my name forward to become the first managing director of this space. Yeah, it was a little challenging at first because shortly after we were, you know, opening and trying to get ready to start renting the theater to the community, in addition to the content we wanted to put on as well, Rutney left. So, you know, and so TSU had a major shift in leadership, and so it proved to be more than challenging to explain, you know, TSU's role in this agreement to an administration who had no idea at all what it was about. I don't think anybody had any ill will or anything like that. It was just what it was. They needed to get abreast of all the information that they could, and then make a decision that fit along with their trajectory of what they wanted to do. And so Rudley had his vision, and a new vision had to be created. So it took a long time to do things, is all I'm saying. We premiered 2 plays here, Dr. Barbara and Carlton Millette. We premiered their show, Presidential Timber. We premiered Reginald Edmonds' Daughters of the Moon here, which featured Dietrich Award. I taught here on Saturdays, intro to theater to people in the theater department, and of course people that were not in the theater department. So it was always really fun for them to come in and say, "Wow, we didn't know this was over here," you know. And so it was almost like marketing. It's like, "Oh no, this is a venue. Hey, do your next event here, you know, if you can, you know, leave something at the door."
The DeLUXE Theater renovations include a marquee, a modern architectural style popular in the 1920s.
But you know, when the community has decided that it will not die, has decided that it will not be defined by outsiders, but will be defined by its history, by its makeup. It's not a matter of persevering, it's just a matter of living. And what we knew is that this building had too much history. It was where I got my first kiss. And for that and that alone,
The DeLUXE Theaters contributes much of its success to a wonderful cultural arts team. We have a team who is focused on community building and engagement, very similar to our core organization, our board members, our leadership. We're focused on bringing people in, supporting community building and engagement. And the one thing that you have to really do is be inviting, be welcoming. We have opened the doors of the DeLUXE Theater to our schools, to our churches, to our nonprofit organizations, and of course, those who are interested in renting the facility. But we want to make sure that people recognize that art is more than just the performances that you see or the art that you can visualize or the dances. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. And so even in the shop that we have here on site at the DeLUXE Theater, it's an opportunity for our stages to be created right here on site. It's an opportunity for us to engage interns who are in theater management, who want to work behind the scenes and support our theatrics. Everything that you see requires a special discipline. And so our wonderful staff here at the theater are about supporting, about training and developing others, about bringing people in with various expertises and sciences, as well as the arts to help support this movement. So we want to make sure that everyone feel like they have a place in the arts community here in Fifth Ward.
I heard through the wind on the streets that there was a historic Black community that had a theater that had sat vacant, and they were about to break ground on bringing it back to life. And as someone who is dedicated to Black culture and loves the arts and started out in theater, I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. And that seed was planted, and I started to kind of look into the DeLUXE Theater and look into Fifth Ward. And I don't know, something just said, I'm supposed to work there. And it wasn't even built yet. And so over the years, I kind of paid attention to like the progress of it and what was happening. And then once they were having the grand opening, I started to send my resume to the DeLUXE Theater. I think I sent it to them 3 years before figuring out how I can be a part of the community. And the way that I became a part of the community was through the Arts and Culture Committee that was applying to become a culture district for the community. That was my entry. It wasn't what I set out to do, but it's kind of how it happened. So I served on that committee, and of course the DeLUXE was a major topic on that committee. And I had lots of ideas, and I was very excited about the theater coming back. And before you know it, I sent my resume again, and finally got an interview to work at the DeLUXE Theater. And I've just kind of always known that the potential for it was so great. If you really could figure out how to keep it rooted in community, keep it centered on Blackness, open it to everybody, but have just an amazing sense of hospitality is kind of what I wanted to do with the DeLUXE. And so getting here, it's been a real joy to see all of that come to life.
The thought that this theater was brought back to life in this community so people can witness, you know, all of its splendor and what happened here. And for the people who are not even aware of the DeLUXE Theater, and when they come here and so much culture is happening here, Harrison is making so many good things happen here. And then children are involved, which is what I really loved. And so they're getting to know the history of this building and even perform in it. And so that is a great thing to me. It really is.
So when I got to the DeLUXE, it was not highly utilized as much as I thought it would be. We had a few, maybe 1 or 2 theater clients. People were having some events in the gallery space. And I just knew that this space had the potential to be just populated all the time. I rent spaces all the time in Houston. I thought it was equivalent to the spaces I was renting. And so I started on a fast track to figuring out how do we get people in this space all the time. And so we did a refresh, a rebrand of the website, of the logo, and really started to put it out that we wanted to have people in the space. and we saw an increase in rentals. We saw an increase in theater people wanting to be here, in events, and people coming to the space almost immediately. And so the climb for people being in the space, it was just drastic. After I got here, and we really opened these doors and let people know that we wanted people here. So that's kind of what happened on the rental side. And then on the programming side, you know, I've been trying to figure out, we've been on a journey to figure out how can this be a space for many things? How can many artistic disciplines live at this amazing space? Because the Deluxe came back online as more than just a film space, it just opens the door to all kinds of art practices. Because I asked the community, like, what do you want to see in this space? And I was very surprised that the answer I kept getting first was, please do something for young people. And I thought, oh, wow, I thought the adults would say, do something for us, or here's this jazz band I've always wanted to see. And that really wasn't the answers I was getting. In the beginning, the answers were, please do something for young people. And so that's how we started with the Deluxe Kids, a musical theater program. We thought we bring kids into the space. We have a great stage for them to perform on. I know the power of kids being a part of theater because I grew up in that environment. So I was really delighted that was one of my first kind of projects that we worked on. And so it just so happens that I put it out and said, we're going to do a kids program and we're going to do a Christmas play. And probably within a week, I met someone who was from the community who had written a kids Christmas play. It was divine. And so the first year we did A Crushed Christmas, which was written by Marquise, who is from Fifth Ward.
We're going to be talking about this new kids program that they're doing at the Deluxe. It's called the Deluxe Kids, and it's aiming to provide a platform for kids to experience the magic of the arts, just like the show's director and other production members have. I went backstage during their rehearsals to see just how much these talented kids have learned.
Our very first meeting, he told me that it was his dream to have one of his plays on the Deluxe Theater. And it clicked for me almost immediately that people have been dreaming up what they can do in this space. And I am the vessel and the facilitator of those dreams. And so that's how the kids programming started, but also that's how being rooted in community and being dedicated to the Fifth Ward community, that's how it all started for me. That program is now 5 years old. We just did our 5th production, of the Wiz Jr. and the kids is 42 kids. And so each year we have put a production together and giving kids the opportunity to perform on the Deluxe Theater as their home base for musical theater. One summer, the Houston Symphony came to us to ask us to do a community symphony program. They just wanted to bring the symphony to play for the community. And I thought, cool, free program. It's the symphony, so the music is going to be good. And they had such a great time that they asked for a follow-up meeting. And in that meeting, they asked if they could create a children's violin program. And I thought, wow. And they just wanted to gift us instruments and teachers and a full-out violin program for this community. And I told them yes, a resounding yes, instantly, and that I was excited to partner with them to bring that program to the community. And that program is now in its 4th year. It also has over 40 students. And so it's just great to see that the Deluxe Kids, both the violin program in harmony and the musical theater program, are thriving. We've seen over and over again so many magical moments with these students and their families. And so the Deluxe Theater serving as a place for young people and their families through art and culture, that part of what we do is probably one of my favorite things to do.
Well, I am the product of kids programming, kids arts programming. So I'm a living testimony as to the impact that kids programming can have on students, on the community, and being able to give my own talents and energy and time to this programming is, again, an honor. You know, like Whitney, I believe that the children are the future, and we have to raise them well. And part of that is exposure to the arts, exposure to all types of things that broaden their horizons. I mean, you know, when you're growing up, it's easy to have very a tunnel vision and to only see what's in front of you. But to have spaces like the Deluxe that create spaces for the youth to be on stages, to discover new skills. Through our summer program, kids are exposed to a lot of different disciplines of art. And we've had stories of kids and parents discovering that their kids have talents that they didn't know about. So this just being a platform for the youth to explore, to see what's out there, to see what they might be interested in and what they aren't interested in, so that they can hone in on those things earlier in life. It helps them, you know, find direction, but also, you know, especially being on stages, it helps build confidence. It helps them to understand, you know, what it's like to be a part of a team, to have camaraderie with other kids your age. Like, you build a lot of developmental skills in programs like this. And this is just as important as it is for kids to study math and reading and science. And those things all help create a very well-rounded individual.
The Deluxe Theater is extremely important to the Fifth Ward community. Just because of the things that we offer for the community. We are a space that we make affordable for our community, sometimes partnerships with surrounding organizations and businesses, and also our impact with youth lives. I think what we do with our Deluxe Kids programming is so rich and is truly shaping and transforming our kids to be more creative and more unique and free thinking. And I just think that is such a huge impact to see the kids performing on stage, sitting in the audience, supporting their friends, just coming back year after year. I just think that is so rich, and I can't wait to see where these kids are in the future.
We also started 3 years ago, we started Black Theater Week. And it's really our desire with Black Theater Week to build community with Black theater makers in Houston. And so what we do with that program is we bring 2 to 3 emerging playwrights into the space. We give them tons of backbone support, whether that's production on the stage, box office help, marketing, to get people into the seats. It is really our desire to allow them into the space where all they have to do is focus on the play. And so we've done that for 3 years. We've made some amazing friends along the way with Black Theater Week. We're looking at how do we do even more in the future for the Black theater community, but that is our gift to the Black theater community. We want to do the same thing with music, same thing with dance. We haven't gotten to those yet. We of course have had them on the stage, but we're working to figure out how do we have dedicated programming for as many performing artists as we can.
The Deluxe Theater served as a movie venue before closing its doors in 1969. From 1971 to 1973, it was used as an art gallery.
Historically, the Deluxe show happened at the Deluxe Theater in 1971. It was an art exhibition, and so we have to play in the arts, visual art space as well. And so the 50th anniversary in 2021, we held our first Deluxe show art exhibition since the art exhibition in 1971, and since we've annually hosted an art exhibition. So it's really nice to use the gallery space as an art exhibition space. We try our best to bring community artists and keep a community focus with that one as well. So the space has really become a hub for not just performing arts, but for visual arts as well. And I think when you put all these things together, you really see that the vision that the community had for this space is coming to life. It is, how do we use art and culture to advance this community, to protect and preserve its history? And the Deluxe Theater, I think, has done and is doing that. And I can't wait to see what more of this we do in the future.
Got a call from Harrison Guy, who is the director of arts here at the Deluxe Theater. And Harry and I have known each other for quite some time. He called and he said, Justina, I want to talk to you. Like, you are the perfect person for the way that we see expanding, right? We're doing work with the Fifth Ward CRC, And we really want to ensure that holistic wellness is at the center, right, of the work that we're doing to revitalize and redevelop the community. And I just feel you'll be a great person, right? It was an unequivocal yes. And that was the first time in being asked that I felt a full body yes. And in my commitment to root myself in a space as a yoga teacher. And that was because Harry was in alignment and the DeLUXE Theater was in alignment with the accessibility of the practice being for the community, right? And we know the demographics of this community. I come from this community, and I was so moved to have the opportunity to root this type of work here, being here at the DeLUXE and seeing folks come across from over on the other side of the store saying, what y'all doing in here, you know? And then them walking in and being a part of this yoga class, right? Like, you don't need anything, we have mats, come on in, you know? And there being this accessibility and acceptance in this space has felt like my love offering to a community that I, as a young girl, come from.
Well, you know, I would be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that film programming came back to the DeLUXE this year. And, you know, everybody on the team pitched in and did their part to make it possible. But that's a very historic moment for the space, but also culturally significant because of what we are building here at the DeLUXE. And that is a space for, as far as film is concerned, a space to view, to see films that reflect our community, our culture, our stories, but also to make this a place for learning and engagement with the community of Black creatives here in the city who are also filmmakers, are also colorists and writers and actors, and bringing those people together in this space is something that is absolutely culturally relevant, but also needed here in the city of Houston.
Since I've come to the DeLUXE as the venue and events manager, I feel like my understanding for the importance of this space and what it has done for this community has just exploded. I am so excited to be a part of such rich history. Like I said, this space has been here since 1941, and just being able to walk through a space that's been here that long, hearing stories from the community about how, oh, they had their first kids here at the DeLUXE, or they used to work the concessions at the DeLUXE. It's just makes me feel like I'm a part of the Fifth Ward community. Even though I'm not even from Texas, I really feel like this is home for so many people, and I'm just happy to have it in my hands and nurture it and make sure that it is still here for the future.
So it brings me a lot of pride to know that this facility has now existed again for 10 years. Because in learning the history and learning how it once was an incredible movie house in the 40s, to then a visual art space, to then completely vacant and desolate for 30 plus years, to now seeing it full of life, full of art. Film has returned to it, and making friends and building community in it. It brings me so much joy to be part of it, but pride in the fact that I am a component of helping lift it up. And whenever the time comes that I step away from this facility and move on to my next chapter in my career, I'll at least know that the work I put into DeLUXE Theater is work that allows somebody else to stand upon and continue to build the facility further, and build the culture further, and build the organization further, and help uplift the arts in this community further. And that's awesome. And I just can't wait to see what happens next.
I want to wish a happy 10-year anniversary to all of those involved in the DeLUXE Theater.
to Harrison and to his entire team, to Kathy and our entire Fifth Ward team that makes this venue work, function. I'd like to say to them, thank you, thank you, thank you, and keep up the good work. I also would like to say to those individuals who come to this venue and take advantage of the whole experience, thank you for coming. Pass the word that the best is yet to come, the DeLUXE Theater.
Congratulations on 10 years. There's no question it was going to happen. I've never had any doubt that the DeLUXE would become and would be successful. I am proud of whatever small thing that I have, contributed to its beginnings. To Kathy and the whole crew, my thanks and salute to you all, and many more years.
Today is only the beginning. It's 10 years later after revitalization, but we have so much more life in us and so much more to offer. We want to see generations, or at least I do want to see the generations behind me, have a place that they can call home and know that the theater is here for them.
So I want to personally congratulate the DeLUXE Theater and Fifth Ward, the community, and every person who has played a part in the DeLUXE Theater coming back online 10 years ago for this 10-year anniversary. I think it is a true testament to what happens when people come together to make a thing happen. It is my hope for the future that this space continues to be rooted in Fifth Ward, that it is never a question about where this theater is located, who made it possible, and who it is for. And it is also my hope that it remains inclusive so that everybody in the city can want to come to Fifth Ward to be a part of whatever is happening at the DeLUXE Theater.
Happy 10 years to the DeLUXE. Here's to 10 more years, 20 more years, 30 more years, 40 more years, 50 more years, 100 more years.